Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving deep, into the story of Armonte Money
Oh,
Edwards.
yeah, love this one.
You might know the name, right? NFL, CFL, but this is more than just football, believe me.
Way more.
We've got part screenplay, part biography, fascinating stuff, and we're here to find out, who is this guy beyond the touchdowns, you know?
It's one of those stories that grabs you from the get-go. I mean, we're talking family, resilience, chasing those dreams, even when it feels like the world's trying to tackle you.
It's about finding that success on your own terms, even if it doesn't fit the mold, right?
Exactly.
So let's unpack this thing. We begin in Greenwood, South Carolina. Young Armonte, money. Even back then, loved football, small kid, but man, that talent just jumped out at you.
It's really interesting how that find-a-way thing, it becomes like his thing, Like it was almost, I don't know, instilled in him. You see it with his dad, Freddie, hardworking guy, sure, but flawed, But that find-a-way spirit,
Yeah.
always there.
Right, like he inherited it or something? I mean, think about it. Young Armonte, he breaks his wrist playing. The doctor's like, 6 to 8 weeks in a cast, kid. And Armonte sneaking out to practice, determined to play.
Makes you wonder, at that age, where does that come from? Especially with the dad like Freddie in the picture. Was it pushing back against that? Trying to prove something? There's a depth there, man. It pulls you in.
No doubt. And we can't talk about his childhood without mentioning Miss Deborah, his mother.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nurse, strong faith, and you can tell she wants the best for him, the absolute best. But there's this, practicality about her, too, Like, she knows it's a tough world out there, especially for a young black man with dreams bigger than his town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's the rock, but she's also the voice of reason, right? You can feel her trying to balance it all, nurturing those dreams, but keeping it real.
It's that balance every parent wrestles with, I think. Now, high school hits, things get interesting. Teenage life, right? First love, family drama, the whole 9 yards. But through it all, Armonte, this burning need to prove himself on the field.
And it's more than just athleticism, right? We start to see him strategize. Like he's really understanding the game on a whole nother level. Remember that part in the screenplay where he calls a play based on what the other team's cheerleaders are yelling?
Oh, come on. That's incredible. Talk about reading the field.
It's like he could see right through everyone, knew what they were thinking before they did, and then bam, used it to his advantage.
And you see this other key relationship taking shape in high school. His cousin, PJ, another talented football player, and man, the rivalry. Intense.
Always trying to one-up each other. But underneath it all, you could sense the respect, even if it was a little grudging. It's like they knew deep down they pushed each other to be better.
Iron sharpens iron, right? So Armonte finishes high school. He's got the talent, the drive, the wins to back it up. You'd think college recruitment would be a slam dunk, right?
That's where it gets really interesting. Big-time colleges, the ones you'd expect, they hesitate. Some flat out dismiss him. And the reason? His size.
Talk about a reality check, huh? Makes you think how much potential gets overlooked because it doesn't fit the mold.
But Armonte, he wasn't giving up that easily.
Thank goodness for that. That's when Appalachian State comes knocking. Smaller school, but their coach, he saw something special. He saw beyond the height, saw that fire in Armonte, and that's when things really take off. For his game, for him as a person. This is where he comes into his own. You can feel it. He thrives under Coach Moore. The team dynamic is electric.
Especially with his roommate, Coco. And this gets where it gets juicy. Coco's a phenomenal quarterback, too. Imagine sharing a room with your biggest competition.
Oh, man, talk about pressure.
Right. And the screenplay nails that tension between them. Both going for the top spot, but you can also feel the respect knowing they're in the trenches together. Makes you think, how does that kind of dynamic shape a young athlete, on and off the field?
It's a good question, and man, let's talk about the Michigan game.
Oh, we have to talk about the Michigan game, the ultimate underdog story. Appalachian State, this small school, going up against the powerhouse, Michigan, on their turf.
And they delivered, let me tell you.
Blew everyone away.
Yeah.
This wasn't just football. This was about proving everyone wrong, showing the world what they were made of. Size doesn't mean everything.
Yeah. The kind of win they make movies about, right? And Armonte, he's suddenly in the national spotlight. Small town kid takes down a giant. Everyone's talking. But this is just the beginning.
Oh, there's so much more to come. We'll get into all of it. The challenges, the victories, the man behind the fame. It's about to get good.
It's true, though. I mean, that Michigan game, it felt like, the peak, right? The underdog story, everyone loves it. But then, boom, life throws you a curveball.
And that's where the story gets really powerful, I think.
Yeah.
because we see Armonte dealing with his dad going to prison,
Yeah.
and it adds this whole other layer, you know.
Right.
It's not just about winning anymore, it's about those raw emotions, abandonment, anger, that weight of family, even when it's tough.
Yeah, it gets heavy, and the screenplay, it doesn't sugarcoat it. You see Freddie in prison, struggling with everything, trying to connect with Armonte, and Armonte's caught in the middle, trying to reconcile his own dreams with all that pain from his dad's past.
Those prison scenes, man, they stay with you. The phone
Wow.
calls, heartbreaking. You hear it in their voices, the mix of love and resentment. Just wanted a relationship, but circumstances, they make it near impossible.
They're both trying to figure out forgiveness, what it even means in that situation. It makes you think, what would you do? How do you balance loving a parent with the things they've done?
There's no easy answer to that,
Mm-hmm.
and the way the screenplay handles it, it's honest, it's full of empathy. But it's not just the prison thing, right? This is also the lead up to the NFL draft, the pressure's building.
Talk about a pressure cooker. His whole future's on the line. And remember, scouts are still hung up on his size. Can he make it at that level? That doubt, it's always there in the background.
And the screenplay, it captures that perfectly. Armonte's training like crazy, pushing himself. But there's this internal struggle, too. He's got something to prove, not just to the scouts, to everyone. His dad, even himself.
When you've already achieved so much, what keeps you going, you know? Is it the love of the game? Proving people wrong? Or is it something deeper, something more personal?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? And that's what I love about this story. It doesn't give you easy answers. It makes you sit with those questions, with the fact that success isn't always a straight line. And even at the top, there's still battles to fight.
And Desiree, his high school sweetheart, she's there, a rock for him. But even that relationship, it's tested. He starts acting out after his dad goes to prison, almost throws it all away at Appalachian State.
It's like he's trying to numb the pain, rebel against it all. It reminds you, even the strongest people have those moments, those vulnerabilities, especially when they're carrying so much.
Absolutely. But that's the thing about Armonte. He always seems to find a way to pull himself back up. He sees what he has at Appalachian State, the opportunity, and he goes for it.
He recommits to the game, to the team, and even when there's pressure to switch positions, he digs in. He wants to play quarterback, even if some still see him as too small.
That belief in himself never wavered. And you know what? It paid off. Another national championship with the Mountaineers, proving them all wrong again.
Talent, work ethic, sure, but it's that unshakable belief, too. And that sets the stage for the big one, the NFL draft.
Draft day, you can feel the tension, right? Families gathered, everyone waiting, hoping for that call. What a moment. What must have been going through Armonte's mind?
Years of work, sacrifice, dedication, all leading to this. The screenplay doesn't get in his head, but you feel the weight of it, the hopes, the dreams riding on this moment. It's bigger than just sports. It's that universal feeling of reaching for something huge.
And then the announcement. Carolina Panthers select Armonte Edwards. He made it. But here's the thing. They don't take him as a quarterback. They want him as a wide receiver.
Another twist. It's a win for sure, but it's also a challenge. He's achieved the dream, NFL, but not how he pictured it. He has to reevaluate, figure out what success means on his terms.
Man, what a crossroads. What do? Take the safe route, play a different position, or hold out, risk it all to prove yourself as a quarterback.
Must have kept him up at night, thinking about it. But his choice, it says so much about him. He adapts, he embraces the new challenge, and you realize this story, it's not just about football anymore. It's about resilience, finding a way to make your mark even when the path changes.
And let's be real, his NFL journey, not all sunshine and roses, right? Injuries, setbacks, not a lot of chances to really show what he could do. Sometimes it felt like, man, the odds were stacked.
But even then, he never quit. He kept pushing, believing, proving that his story wasn't over. He had more to give, even if it meant looking beyond the NFL.
That's what's so amazing, right? That adaptability, willing to go a different route, CFL, after everything to make that jump.
Says a lot about him, don't you think? Could easily stayed in the NFL, maybe hoping for that quarterback shot, even if it meant, not playing much. But he chose differently, a chance to, reinvent himself a little, find that joy again on his own terms.
And he did. CFL, Armonte shines, man. Shows everyone what he can do. Gets the recognition, helps the team.
Finds his groove again. It's great to see. Sometimes you got to step outside the box, That's where you find yourself, where you really reach your potential.
Truth. And, talk about a storybook ending, 2017, Armonti helps the Toronto Argonauts win the Grey Cup.
What a moment, right? After all the ups and downs, the struggles, the victories, incredible.
Proves that success, it's not always a straight line. Detours, unexpected turns, the whole deal. But you keep going, you adapt. You find a way to leave your mark, even if it's not how you first pictured it.
And that's what makes Armonti Money Edwards' story so powerful. It makes you rethink success, you know? It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey, the growth, the figuring it out as you go.
We started this whole deep dive wanting to understand the man behind the fame, right? His childhood, his family, the highs, the lows, the challenges.
And what did we find? A story about never giving up, believing in yourself, even when it feels like no one else does. The power of family, the good and the bad, how it shapes us.
Armonti Money Edwards, he reminds us that life's going to throw curveballs, there'll be doubts, setbacks, times you question everything.
But it's in those moments when you dig deep, when you find that strength to keep going, that's when you discover who you really are.
And that wraps up another deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep into the stories that matter.